that the Merchant Chamber of Commerce and Industry has organized. Ladies and gentlemen, MCCI over the years has emerged as one of the most dynamic chambers of Eastern India and has been contributing to India's economy now for over 120 years. As the saying goes, the aim of any discussion is to devise a path for progress. Today's interaction is a great opportunity for all of us to reflect and prepare a roadmap for the times ahead. I also extend my heartiest felicitations and good wishes to the people of Manipur, Meghalaya, and Tripura on their 50th statehood day. We all appreciate deeply their contribution to India's growth story. As a skyscraper stands on a strong foundation, economic transformation of any nation stands on the shoulders of a robust industry. One part of holistic thinking is to move beyond traditional practices and create a resilient environment for our industries to grow. As the Honorable Prime Minister said, and I quote, "India is a bouquet of hope for the world. India's technology, talent, and temperament is bringing hope to the world. Powered by the triple engine of exports, investment, and the startups, the foundation has been set for India to become a global powerhouse. India is well on the path of unprecedented economic growth and is set to show the world its true potential and capacity. Despite the lockdown, India met all its international service commitments. In a way, we are today called the trusted partner of the world. We have an opportunity of a lifetime to propel our industrial production to record new heights. In our journey towards realizing the dream of an Atmanirbhar Bharat, the government has taken transformative steps to create a conducive environment for businesses. We have strengthened the coal and mining sector through transparent auctions for the private sector. We have improved and liberalized the defense sector, now 74% FDI through automatic route and 100% through the government approval route is permitted. Over 101 defense items have been notified exclusively for being made indigenously. We have a dedicated defense investor cell. In the telecom sector, 100% FDI is allowed. All the penalties and all of the pasts have been removed. Interest rates have been rationalized, and a whole bouquet of transformative initiatives have been initiated. Several other reforms like production-linked incentive, about which Rishabhji also just mentioned, our focus on reducing compliance burden, the National Infrastructure Pipeline, the Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti National Infrastructure Master Plan, the single window and land bank, which have recently been test launched, are a part of several initiatives that the government has taken. Ladies and gentlemen, India no longer signs free trade agreements just to be a part of a group or for the sake of it. We are looking at reciprocal access, good market conditions, and equitable and fair play in trade in goods and services. We are looking at robust free trade agreements with like-minded nations, with values of democracy, transparency, and mutual growth. Therefore, agreements with the UAE, Australia, the United Kingdom, Israel, very soon we'll launch Canada, the GCC, We have recently launched the European Union FTA. All of these are going to be a two-way traffic. And we'll certainly need your cooperation from industry in maintaining these bilateral fruitful discussions, because free trade agreements are a two-way traffic. It cannot be one-sided access for Indian goods and services alone. As India celebrates Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, I think it is time for us to reflect and prepare for India at 2047, when we will have 100 years of independence, with the cost advantage as well as the trust advantage that Indian industry enjoys. This is the time for India to emerge out of the shadows and truly become a global nation. Industry needs to have greater appetite for risk-taking. We will have to look at investments from the private sector in labor-oriented sectors to create jobs, maybe plastics, footwear, textiles, leather. All of these are opportunities for us to take. We've had a very successful experience on the PLI front, particularly with the mobile phone industry, where it first started, with APIs, with medical devices, and are hoping to replicate it in semiconductors and several other areas which have already been announced. 14 sectors now have production-linked incentive schemes. The Indian industry must clearly focus on the principles of quality, productivity, and become global scale operators so that we can benefit from economies of scale. I have three call for Indian industry to act upon, three areas. There are three important aspects which, if industry adopts, we can truly transform the future of business in India. One, I would urge all of you to proactively participate by giving ideas and suggestions. It could be on issues related to the free trade agreements. It could be about non-tariff barriers that you all face in your efforts to expand exports. It could be market access issues that you face abroad. You could help us by suggesting themes for India's G20 presidency, which we will take up next year in 2023. But the themes should resonate with our vision to make India a self-confident, self-reliant, and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Similarly, I would urge industry to highlight areas where we can reduce compliance burden and enhance ease of doing business and ease of living. You can help us identify processes in the government which can be decriminalized, or laws which can be decriminalized. You can suggest processes that can be digitized or taken online. You can suggest areas where the legal framework can be simplified. You can offer suggestions for self-regulation. Some of you can start using the National Single Window program and system and give us a feedback on how it works, what improvements, if any, how we can expand its scope further. Because unless you use it, we will not know how good or bad it is. And lastly, I would urge all of you to become more self-reliant in your value chains and supply chains. You can focus on expanding the ecosystem around you, which will become inputs or suppliers to your industry, just like you want to be suppliers to another industry. And gradually, India will become self-reliant, self-sufficient, and we can integrate our large and MSME sectors with forward and backward linkages into an entire ecosystem, a robust, holistic, India-centered supply chain. In conclusion, the world is watching India. The world is ready to engage with India in a much, much deeper and bigger way. It is for us in India to take giant leaps towards transforming the nation and changing the lives of our fellow citizens. As Rabindranath Tagore ji had said, you cannot cross the river, you cannot cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. Ladies and gentlemen, industry associations such as yours can partner with all stakeholders, including central and state governments, missions, our international missions, our export promotion councils, and help businesses to expand, attract investment into India, and strengthen domestic industry. Let us all come together with one resolve to make India a global leader by taking up bigger and bolder challenges. Thank you very much.
Insightful address. And of course, in the last 2 years, your ministry and you yourself have shown exemplary leadership to help the country go through this crisis. We have participated in almost biannual meetings where you've not only guided us, but helped us resolve problems. So thank you, sir, for this exemplary leadership that you have shown, especially through the last 18 months to 2 years during when COVID was going on. And sir, as you mentioned about the PLI scheme, is of course one of the most far-sighted policies that have come from the government. But there is a request that there should be an effort done so that the trickle-down benefit comes to the other parts of the economy, especially the MSME sector, and is not restricted to the large industries, sir.
Well, undoubtedly, we agree with you. And the effort is that the MSMEs particularly prosper. More and more of our government programs, including under the Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme, were focused on the MSME sectors. And I have been personally making appeals to large industry to support our MSME sectors in a much bigger way. If you have any concrete suggestions in this regard, we would certainly value and welcome them.
Sure, sir. And sir, you spoke about regulations. Recently, SEBI has mandated that a provision where it requires that the managing director and the chairman of the company are not related to each other. We feel, sir, it may be a over-regulation and impede the conducive business environment that we have right now. The Indian industrial sector is not matured for such a provision, and being non-executive chairman and not related to MD will take away the motivation and executive capability. So we request your intervention so that this may at least be deferred, or at least there is a certain threshold of market capitalization after which it is implemented instead of on all listed companies, sir.
Well, very clearly, this is an area that relates to a regulator, and India regulators are totally independent. But now this has been flagged off earlier also by other industry associations. I believe it's been flagged off to the Ministry of Finance, which monitors this regulator. I do hope that they will give it their best consideration.
So I have two more questions, and then I will request my senior vice president to come up with his question. One is, sir, that while we have been talking about FTAs, there is a general fear, especially given the rising cost of production that most Indian producers are facing, that with FTAs coming in, we understand there is something with UK and UAE on the cards. There's a fear that the Indian industry, especially given the current scenario, will be at an extreme disadvantage. So what would you suggest in such a situation?
Well, we are engaging with industry before we give concessions on any sector. But bear in mind that ultimately in the globalized world, our industry also wants access.
Absolutely.
We also want to expand labor-oriented sectors where there's good potential. And we are losing market share. Don't you hear the textile industry is always such stress because they're not able to compete with Bangladesh, Vietnam, and all the other countries which have zero duty access in these countries. Similarly, beyond a stage, Indian markets, once they are saturated, where will your growth come from? And FTA cannot be a one-way traffic. It's a two-way traffic. Some items will come from abroad, some will go to those countries. Our focus is wherever we have the competitive or comparative advantage, we should look at market access. And wherever the advantage is with some other country, we don't have to force the Indian consumer to buy expensive.
Yes.
We already have FTAs with Japan, with Korea, many other countries. So it's not as if there is no access to the Indian market. In fact, when there'll be more access with different markets, hopefully products will be available for all of us at more competitive prices, on which we can do value addition, particularly in labor-oriented areas, and expand our business. So our effort is to create more jobs and give us opportunity in areas where we have the competitive edge.
Sure, sir. So I request my senior vice president, Mr. Lalit Beriwal. He has a couple of questions for you.
Good evening, sir. I'm Lalit Beriwala from Shyam Steel Industries. We have previously met many times in many occasions, sir. Thank you for your wonderful speech, sir. We thank you also for your personal initiative for introducing PLI scheme for industries, which in its presence say benefit the big manufacturers only nowadays, sir, due to high capex requirement of special steel manufacturing facilities, sir. Basically, PLI scheme in steel has been given for the special items only, which to restrict the import, and the capex requirement is very high. That's why MSME and in steel industries is not getting benefit out of that. And MSME steel industry contributing nearly 60% of the country's steel production are not able to harvest these benefits, sir. Present government initiatives are driving the medium scale industries to dream big and grow, and therefore presents yardsticks of a medium enterprise with investment up to rupees 50 crore and turnover of 250 crores. Needs to be a upward revision for wider reach of support, sir. Because the medium sector, now turnover has been restricted to 50 crores and turnover, a capex of 50 crores and turnover to 50 crores. So now last 5 years, industrial growth for the medium sector is enormous there. And this should be revised for the minimum for 2,000 to 3,000 of crores of capex and turnover of more than 5,000 crores, because there is a huge gap between the medium sectors and after the large sector. And after 250 crores of turnover, there will be 50,000 crores of turnover also coming to the large sector. So if special initiative or special incentive for the general sector of steel industry, for this sector, for medium sector, revised medium sector can be given, then huge boost up can be given and huge development and industrial production in the steel sector come up in eastern region, sir.
Gentlemen, the definition of MSME has very recently been increased. And in that, we have kept the export turnover out. So in addition to the numbers you gave, export turnover is over and above that.
Yes, sir.
Our focus is that if we increase it too much, then almost everybody will come into that and there'll be no benefit to the very small micro and small industries. So therefore, we've tried to create a balance, have a reasonable increase so that companies can grow from their current level. But beyond the current limits, particularly since export is also outside it, I think it will be premature to revise these limits. As regards the PLI scheme and the large capex, that scheme is meant to create global champions and to bring scale. MSMEs will then be the suppliers or the ancillaries to these large global scale investments. So the whole purpose of PLI was to create some big investment opportunities in few sectors. There are many sectors where even small people are being allowed. So it's not as if in all sectors only large companies are coming in. Different sectors are focused on component manufacturing. And in a few sectors, we are looking at world-class, world-scale manufacturing. MSMEs will get a natural benefit in the back end.
Actually, sir, state governments have the incentive for MSME, but that restrict up to 50 crores of capex only. And the big, if after 50 crores of capex, somebody wants to put up 500 crores, 1000 crores, there is no scheme for that. And now India last 5 years has grown enormously. And there's huge chances that if some schemes in the form of either PLI or any other form can give, central government can brought, then will give huge boost up to the steel industry, sir, in this sector, sir. That is
अब आज के दिन तो स्टील इंडस्ट्री को हमें बूस्ट देने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. आप लोग का तो बड़ा बूस्ट ही चल रहा है आजकल. बाकी सब
लास्ट 1 ईयर से काफी एक्चुअली आयरन और कोल प्राइसेस है.
राज्यों की जो स्कीम है, स्टेट स्कीम्स तो उनके हाथ में है.
हाँ, नहीं, सर्टेनली.
जहां तक सेंटर का सवाल है, मेरा तो पर्सनल मानना है कि businesses have to stand on their own legs. आपने मेरे कई वक्तव्य देखे होंगे.
हाँ सर, ये सर.
Businesses have to stand on their own legs. और हर एक चीज में हर एक देश competitive हो ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. हमें जो चीजों में हम competitive हैं, जहाँ पे हमें बाकी देशों के निस्बत हम ज्यादा अच्छा काम कर सकते हैं, वो स्वाभाविक रूप से भारत में आएगा. और लॉन्ग रन में सरकार के पास भी पैसे तो जितने होंगे उसके हिसाब से सब्सिडीज दे पाएंगे. तो सब्सिडीज ज्यादा छोटे लोगों को जरूरत पड़ती है जिनको स्केल नहीं होता है. और बड़ी इंडस्ट्री में तो अपने आप इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल आ जाती है. उनके पास मनी पावर होता है, मनी क्लाउड होता है. तो मेरा मानना है कि छोटे लोग की तरफ ही ज्यादा फोकस है तो उचित ही रहेगा.
ठीक बात है सर, ठीक बात. Sir, another question is that, sir. Sir, you are kindly aware that prices of steel rebars has gone up by nearly 40% in last 12 months, owing to the high volatility of raw material prices, sir, which is adversely affecting also the government infrastructure projects, sir. It will be project overcost. You are also aware that export of iron ore pellets is on the rise last financial year 2017 to this 21. Exports is more than 100% higher, that is 19 million tons. In 2017, it was 9 million tons. Now export of pellets is now 19 million tons, almost double this. Presently, Government of India allows iron ore pellet export, unlike a ban on the export of iron ore fines and lumps, as pellet is considered a manufactured product, not a natural resource. You are kindly aware that pellet has hardly a premium price of around $50 per ton, meaning a cylinder value addition, sir. Actually, there is no hardly very less value addition. So therefore, I suggest that, or that is a suggestion that if it can be restricted or complete iron ore export pellets can be banned, so that the prices of steel can be regulated, and moreover, the steel industry can get pellets or iron ore at a reasonable prices, sir.
I think the steel prices being high is not only because of iron ore prices. There are a number of factors, including the international prices.
Yes, sir.
Today, international prices itself are high. Also, I've been seeing the balance sheets of steel industries. I don't think today they have any cause for complaint. So why do they want to kill our exports and profit more? I don't think that's a very, very exciting proposition. On the one hand, we'll lose our exports. On the other hand, the profits of steel will go up even beyond what they are now. So let us allow all businesses to survive and prosper. On any other technical issue, whether pellets, what is the value add, all that you'll have to probably write in a letter, which I'll certainly refer to my colleague in the steel ministry to examine.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Sir, one another suggestion is that we seek your kind intervention for setting up a specially empowered committee under your ministry, under your guidance, which may comprise, among others, representatives of Ministry of Steel, Ministry of Coal, Railways, and representatives of SME sector also, to address the difficulties of iron and steel industries, particularly in MSME sector, for one-stop solution to problems of the industry, including environmental, land, or any statutory clearances, including coal and iron and linkages, this will undoubtedly go a long way in ease of doing business, sir.
That's a good idea. I like this idea. Let me talk to the Ministry of Steel, since they will be the nodal ministry. Let me have a chat with them, and then maybe we can consider creating some such group like this. It's a welcome suggestion.
Thank you, sir.
I'll
Thank
take
you.
it forward.
Thank you, sir. So we have with us Mr. Hemant Bangar, our past president, who has interests in both tea as well as jute. I request him to ask a question.
नमस्कार सर, जूट इंडस्ट्री की तरफ से केवल एक ही रिक्वेस्ट इस समय है, अब बाकी चीजें तो ठीक है. We run Port Gloucester, which is going to complete 150 years of existence in this financial year. So 150 साल से हम इस फैक्ट्री को चला रहे हैं, and it was set up as an export oriented unit and continues to be one of the largest exporter of jute goods. And despite the competition from Bangladesh, which has better fiber, lower cost of power, and lower manpower cost, we have been competing against Bangladesh in all Western markets. And now the market is actually growing, especially when the Western world is looking towards replacement of plastics wherever it is technically possible. But sir, one of the biggest problems that we are facing is that, especially those who are exporting, is that the Office of the Jute Commissioner has restricted the purchase of raw jute by jute mills to 45 days of production. Now, sir, as you're aware, in exports, you have to sign contracts for 6 months, 1 year, firm price contracts for supplies to various places. Now, against that, we need to hedge the raw jute that we want to buy, which will go into making of such products. But with this restriction of 45 days, it actually is, whatever may be the reason why the Jute Commissioner's office has done it.
I've understood your point. I have a little shortage of time. I will ask the Jute Commissioner to engage with your association and understand it. Maybe we can look at an exemption for exports. I think the reason he's done that is because of the hoarding of jute that is being done by the jute industry, possibly. We don't know, but we are given to understand that there's hoarding of jute. And then you are demanding higher and higher prices for jute bags. So on the one hand, you want protection for your industry and compulsory jute orders, jute bag orders, and you force us to buy expensive jute. It's an anachronism. So you make up your mind. Either you provide us at a fair price, then we have no reason to stop your forward purchase or anything.
So
but it's an industry problem. Amongst yourselves, you'll have to come up with a good, robust solution.
So there is
farmers don't suffer and food industry doesn't have to pay expensive price.
So point appreciated. The only point is that even Bangladesh, the prices of raw jute are higher than India. The worldwide demand of jute as a fiber has grown. And therefore...
then the industry should tell us to stop having a food packaging order.
I think we need to have a calibrated restructuring of the industry whereby we reduce over a period of time. You can't suddenly go out of the market.
industry को जो एक proposal दीजिए मुझे.
Sure. Sir,
I'm open to a good proposal without compromising the farmers' interests.
Sure, sir. Sir, on the tea industry, just one small suggestion. I know, sir, you have already taken the initiative. But in spite of your initiative, out of the 800 tea gardens in Assam, we still have only 100 ATMs. For 800 tea gardens in Assam, we still have only 100 ATMs.
ATMs?
ATM. So we still cannot digitalize our payment. We are paying that 2% TCS on...
Immediately इसका letter दो, मैं इसको तो immediately resolve करवा दूंगा.
Sir, आपने 3 साल
पहले... bank in Assam?
Sorry, sir.
Lead bank in Assam?
SBI is the lead bank. In fact, we had spoken to SBI chairman 3 years back. Some initiative was taken, but we are still struggling at 100 ATMs. So my suggestion, from what I understand from the banking sector, that it's unviable to run ATMs because of low transactions that the tea workers do. So, sir, unless it is subsidized through donor or some other mechanism where the banks do not suffer a loss in operating ATMs, only then the incentive will come to digitalize this. Otherwise, this for the workers and this ease of business will never come, or ease of living will never come.
I'm trying with State Bank chairman. Let me see if I get him. मैं भी बात कर लेता हूँ. नहीं तो send me a note.
Sure, sir.
I'll talk to him later. One second.
Good evening. Thank you, sir. These are only 2 points.
Mute.
I think he's mute, so we can't.
Mr. Mute.
Thank you. State Bank has assured me they will find a solution to this. They'll either have smaller ATMs or mobile ATMs, but they'll increase it significantly and send me a note, which I'll forward to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Very proactive of you to take this up. And last time, sir, when you did, we actually saw some improvement, but then again, it became slack.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Arun Churiwal, our past
Just
president.
one, I was reading your chat also. There's somebody who's given quite a lot of information about GEM. I would urge him to please send some note. ये आपकी chat में कई सारे questions आए हैं.
जी.
मेरा आपको सुझाव है ये chat के questions मुझे लिखित जरा भिजवा दो.
जरूर सर.
खासतौर पे GEM के बारे में क्योंकि वो directly मेरे अंडर आता है. And I'm worried अगर वो अच्छा नहीं चल रहा है तो I would like to resolve those issues.
Absolutely, sir. We'll send a representative. We'll collate all of them and send it.
Details बड़ी interesting है आपकी chat.
जी
और I
सर.
can see over here.
जी सर.
मैं
And I'm
अरुण
happy
चूड़ीवाल
that your members are so proactive.
We have with us past president Arun Churiwal. Arun ji.
मैं अरुण चूड़ीवाल
One of you have written that they have many information about food corporation. वो भी जरूर मुझे भेजना, वो भी मेरे पास है. अगर उसमें कोई सुझाव है आपके सुधार के तो I will very much welcome it.
Sure, sir. We'll send it to you.
हाँ सर, मेरा ऐसा मंत्री महोदय, ये जो टफ के रुपए नहीं मिल रहे हैं टेक्नोलॉजिकल अपग्रेडेशन फंड के, इसमें बहुत देर हो रही है. और एक जीआईटी भी बनी थी, 3 साल हो गए, जीआईटी भी आगे नहीं बढ़ रही है. तो टफ के फंड को रिलीज करने के बारे में आप
टफ का ऐसा है,
टेक्सटाइल मिनिस्टर है.
मैं अभी बताता हूँ, मैंने अभी रिव्यू भी किया है. टफ में दुर्भाग्य से काफी धांधलेबाजी या काफी मिसयूज हुआ कई वर्ष पहले. अब ये तो होता ही है सरकार में, जब कुछ लोग गलत काम करते हैं उसका खामियाना बाकी सबको भरना पड़ता है. खैर वो सब जो हो गया सो हो गया. अभी पिछली मीटिंग में मैंने थोड़ा बहुत लिबरलाइज तो किया है कि रैंडम चेक वगैरह करके we'll start releasing the tough. I am told significant number of cases they have tried to resolve in the last 1 month or so, but I've told them March तक हो सके उतने ज्यादा cases को resolve करिए. कोई specific instances ईस्टर्न इंडिया के हों तो जरूर हमें भेजिए. थोड़ा बहुत कोविड करके फिजिकल टेस्टिंग हो नहीं पाई, जॉइंट इंस्पेक्शन हो नहीं पाई, तो हम उसको भी थोड़ा नचीला कर रहे हैं, लिबरलाइज कर रहे हैं. बट दुर्भाग्य से वो जो इंस्टेंसेस ऑफ मिसयूज थे, हम आज उसका खामियाना भर रहे हैं.
पर आपकी जीआईटी उसको फास्ट कर सकते हैं ना सर?
नहीं, जीआईटी कर सकते हैं, उसके लिए विजिट करना पड़ता है. 19 में हुआ है अभी. we are trying to reduce the number of visits and do some things online and expedite it.
इतना जल्दी हो जाए
ये भाई
इंडस्ट्री के लिए समस्या की बात है.
जरूर.
I'll request Mr. Sanjeev Patwari to ask the next question. I know, sir, we are you're a little short of time. संजीव जी थोड़ा जल्दी आप अपना प्रश्न रख दीजिए.
सर थैंक्स फॉर योर टाइम. सर हम लोग बेसिकली यही चाहते हैं सर, स्टील इंडस्ट्री का सर ग्रोथ के लिए सर आयरन ओर का सप्लाई का थोड़ा स्मूथ कर दिया जाए सर. और बेसिकली इन उड़ीसा में ऑक्शन होने के बाद माइंस का ऑक्शन तो आया है, सप्लाई भी आया है, बट जिस हिसाब से पहले 200 मिलियन उड़ीसा में माइनिंग हो रहा था, आज उतना हो रहा नहीं है. तो उससे रिलेटेड क्या हुआ, सप्लाई शॉर्ट हो रहा है एंड इंडस्ट्री अफेक्ट कर रहा है. तो आज अगर आयरन ओर सप्लाई ज्यादा आता है, स्टील इंडस्ट्री, उसकी एंसिलरी इंडस्ट्री, इवन एक्सपोर्ट रिलेटेड इंडस्ट्री सभी ग्रोथ हो सकता है. तो हम लोग चाहते हैं सर एटलीस्ट जल्दी से जल्दी माइंस का सप्लाई के लिए ज्यादा से ज्यादा ऑक्शन आए और सप्लाई मार्केट में आए, सो दैट स्टील इंडस्ट्री सबको को आयरन ओर का प्रॉपर्ली सप्लाई मिले. और उसका
पूरी तरीके से हम आपके साथ सहमत हैं. मेरे कलीग प्रहलाद जोशी जी भी लगे हैं इस काम पे. पर ये ऑक्शन जो माइंस का है आयरन ओर, ये स्टेट्स के हाथ में, हमारे हाथ में नहीं है. वी आर एनकरेजिंग उड़ीसा, कर्नाटक, जहां जहां पे आयरन ओर माइंस हैं, वी आर ट्राइंग टू एनकरेज देम टू स्पीड इट अप. और उस पे मैं प्रहलाद जी को भी सजेस्ट करूंगा कि इस पे और बल दें. आपके पास कोई स्पेसिफिक सूचना हो कि किधर माइंस ऑक्शन होती है तो सप्लाई बढ़ सकता है जल्दी, तो जरूर भेजिए. अगर कोई भी आपके पास माइंस के सूचना है कि इसको हम ऑक्शन में डालें या स्टेट से बात करें, तो वी आर हैप्पी टू फैसिलिटेट.
सेकेंड से सर एक ही चीज है, कोल माइनिंग ऑक्शन में भी थोड़ा लिबराइज चाहिए. जहां पर सर 80 माइंस का ऑक्शन हो रहा है, 12-15 बीड आ रहा है और सिंगल बीड को भी अलाउ नहीं हो रहा है सर. उसमें क्या हो रहा है, अपफ्रंट 200-300 करोड़ 500 करोड़ मांगा जा रहा है. जो देखिए अल्टीमेट अगर बीडर
ये
कम
मेरा
है,
एकदम डायरेक्ट सब्जेक्ट ना होने के कारण अगर आप मुझे नोट भेज दें,
हाँ सर,
मैं फिर उनसे एग्जामिन करवा के
अल्टीमेट क्या है, कोल का इतना
संजीव जी हम लोग को औरों को भी मौका देना. मिस्टर संजीव कोठारी प्लीज.
नो प्रॉब्लम, आई लाइक टू नो.
मिस्टर संजीव कोठारी.
क्या रशियन है क्या? कहिए जल्दी से भैया.
संजीव जी प्लीज आस्क योर क्वेश्चन, प्लीज अनम्यूट.
मैं विनोद जैन जी को रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ, वो रखना चाहते हैं. ऋषभ जी, विनोद जैन जी.
विनोद जी जल्दी बोलिए, बिकॉज मेरी एक WTO की मीटिंग चल रही है. I'll have to switch off quickly. विनोद जी बोलिए.
विनोद जी प्लीज आस्क योर क्वेश्चन. Vinod ji, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sir, we wish to bring to a kind notice that a large number of industrial units, and more particularly the printing units, for various reasons are stuck up with unfulfilled export obligations under the EPCG scheme, because of which they will be forced to shut down and lose their hard-earned assets. This is a very serious problem, sir. The coronavirus pandemic has seriously affected a number of industries and is bound to hit the entire world economy for a considerably long period, sir. With digitalization of almost all the services as a result of the pandemic, a number of industries, and more particularly the printing industry, sir, has been hit the most and is facing a very serious setback. In this connection, the following points are noteworthy, sir. The print industry is undergoing fundamental changes due to technology disruptions. Paper-based products are moving to an e-format. Books, magazines, trade journals, checks, application forms, financial documents, and greeting cards are some examples of these trends, sir. Furthermore, flexible packaging is replacing some of the paper and paperboard-based packaging. In addition, there has been a spiraling rise in the prices of raw materials, services, transportation, etc., sir. As the rupee has devalued, sir, this is the most important, sir. As the rupee has devalued over the years against the dollar, the target for export obligation, which was 8 times and subsequently reduced to 6 times of the duty saved in US dollar terms, sir, has almost doubled in rupee terms. In 2007-2008, the dollar rate was 40 rupees.
नहीं, आप सीधा मुद्दे पे आइए. ये सब मुझे मालूम है स्टैटिस्टिक्स. आपका क्या कहना है?
So कहना ये है, sir, our prayer is to bail out these units and to ensure that they do not have to eventually shut down by selling all their assets, including collateral securities offered by them to the banks, and in order to ensure that they are able to run their business smoothly. We feel that an exit option may please be provided to the said units, whereby they are given the exit option if they are not likely to meet their export obligations. This would mean paying off the balance customs duty after adjusting the duty corresponding to the obligation already fulfilled, with complete waiver of interest and or penalty. The export obligation should be
Can
based
you
on
send me
unpaid.
a note? I'll have to discuss this with finance. मेरे हाथ में तो नहीं है ये. मुझे
हाँ,
लगता नहीं है कि ये हो पाएगा. ये unfair होगा उन लोगों पे जिन्होंने actually export किया है.
सर
तो
ये सर हो
मेरा
नहीं रहा है, सर.
suspicion है कि agree नहीं करेंगे. पर
So
आप
ocean
note
freights-
भेजिए, I can try with them.
So ocean freights and इतने बढ़ गए हैं सर, को आप कंटेनर चार्जेस इतने बढ़ गए हैं सर. जब आपने सबका विश्वास विवाद के से विश्वास बिल 2020 किया है डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस के लिए, इसके लिए भी करें. नहीं तो सर सारी दुनिया, बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्रीज, नॉट ओनली प्रिंटिंग इंडस्ट्री, बहुत बहुत छोटे छोटे लोग हैं जो मर जाएंगे सर. देयर इज नो वे आउट, बिकॉज इसमें हो ही नहीं सकता, एक्सपोर्ट नहीं हो सकता सर. जो किताबें बिकनी थी, किताबें अभी सर वो है ही नहीं. माने अभी नाउ दिस ऑल ई फॉर्मेट सर. तो कहाँ हम क्या एक्सपोर्ट करेंगे? सो सर आपसे हाथ जोड़कर निवेदन है सर,
हाथ मत जोड़िए, मेरे हाथ में नहीं है, इससे मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
नहीं सर, आप ही के हाथ में सर, आप ही मालिक.
जो
सर,
चीज
आप ही
मेरे हाथ में नहीं है,
DGFT
मैं कुछ उस पर कमेंट करूं, वो ठीक नहीं है.
नहीं, डीजीएफटी के मालिक तो सर आप ही हैं सर, आप ही कर
DGFT के
सकते
हाथ में नहीं है ये. आपकी जानकारी के लिए
हाँ सर.
इसका डिसीजन हम नहीं ले सकते. वी आर ओनली इम्प्लीमेंटिंग एजेंसी.
So you can strongly recommend to the finance ministry. Sir,
Certainly
that's all.
recommend. We'll certainly recommend.
विनोद जी आपके मैटर को भेज देंगे.
2-2.5 साल
Thank-
पहले हमने ट्राई भी किया था कि ये विवाद से विश्वास की तरह कोई स्कीम आए एक्सपोर्ट स्कीम्स में भी, लेकिन
हाँ,
उस
सर.
समय तो नहीं मंजूरी हुई थी. हमने डेटा भी मांगा था कि ऐसे कितने केसेस है, वो डेटा भी मिला नहीं हमें इंडस्ट्री चेंबर्स से. हमने बहुत ईपीसीज और सबको कहा कि भाई आप लोग डेटा तो दो. तो हमें कुछ कॉन्क्रीट स्कीम अगर बनानी है तो पहले फाइनेंस को बताना पड़ेगा कि इतना लॉस होगा या इतना कॉम्प्रोमाइज होगा रेवेन्यू. पर कोई डेटा मिला नहीं, फाइनली फिर कुछ हम कर नहीं पाए. अगर आप लोग
सर,
सब डेटा कलेक्ट कर सके ईपीसीज
हाँ,
और
सर.
देखें कि ऐसे कितने लोग इस स्कीम में ऑप्ट करना चाहते हैं, तो वी मे बी एबल टू गेट सम ट्रैक्शन इन फाइनेंस.
सर लोग बोलते नहीं है सर कि हालत खराब हो, किस तो बोले हैं सर, इसलिए प्रॉब्लम आ रही है.
मैंने कहा ना ये हमारे सब्जेक्ट में फाइनेंस क्या है. आई विल रेफर इट देयर.
Thank
अगर
you,
आप
thank you,
डेटा देंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा है.
ठीक है
ऐसे
सर, thank
कितने
you.
लोगों को इसमें इंटरेस्ट है.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच.
I request
So nice
our
of this.
past president, Mr. Vivek Gupta. Vivek.
Sir, thank you for giving me an
Vivek.
opportunity, and thank you, sir. Well, बहुत अच्छा sir. So thank you for giving the chamber an opportunity. Thank you for giving all of us an opportunity. Sir, हम तो हमारा बहुत पुराना मुद्दा है न्यूज़पेपर इंडस्ट्री का. Sir, the import duty was imposed when the prices were $400. Now the prices are $800. Sir, if you can look into it, I know it's again related to finance ministry, it is their purview, but sir, you know the tough times through which this industry is going. I'm just making a request to you that whatever in your powers, if you can do whatever is in your powers to help the newspaper industry in any way you can. That's all.
Sure, sure. I'll also take it up. We had taken it up last time also. थोड़ा शायद कम तो किया था. फिर एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटी भी हमने रेकमेंड नहीं करी थी. रिडक्शन अब 5% है ना मेरे ख्याल से.
जी.
We'll have a look at that. I'll request the finance ministry again.
Thank you,
I'll
sir.
request the finance.
Thank you.
I request Udit Todi to come up with this question. Udit ji.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to present our views. We are from the textile industry. We belong from Lux Industries Limited. First of all, I would like to thank Piyush ji for the commendable work which has been done under your leadership. And we are very pleased that now the textile ministry is now fallen under your leadership. Sir, as you know that the textile industry is the second biggest employer in India after the agricultural sector.
थोड़ा brief question पूछिए ना, straight to the question भाई.
हमें market access अगर European countries and Western countries में मिलता है, right now only cotton is getting exported. So cotton export इतना high हो रहा है कि that Indian domestic consumption is also taking a hit because cotton is already very high. So if we can get access to Western markets, we will be able to add value and
that's exactly
export
what we are
garments.
Trying. US में तो आपका चल रहा है export. UK we are trying to get export at zero duty. EU से डिस्कशन शुरू हुई है, पर उधर ज्यादा समय लगेगा क्योंकि 27 देश है वहां पे। पर देखिए, आपको एक्सेस चाहिए, दूसरा एक्सेस रोकना चाहते हैं, तो जब तक कुछ देंगे नहीं तो कुछ मिलेगा नहीं।
इंडिया कंजम्पशन
थोड़ा सबको
इकोनॉमी,
सपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा।
एम्प्लॉयमेंट काफी जनरेट होता है, कंजम्पशन इकोनॉमी में
बाबू, तो
मल्टीप्लायर
मैं
इफेक्ट
समझा रहा
अच्छा
था
मिलेगा।
आपके प्रीवियस स्पीकर को।
सर मल्टीप्लायर इफेक्ट मिलेगा, एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलेगा।
उदित जी, आई एक्सप्लेन दैट टू योर अर्लियर स्पीकर कि कुछ देंगे नहीं तो कुछ मिलेगा नहीं, देते हैं तो आप लोग नाराज हो जाते हो। ये टू वे ट्रैफिक है।
So we totally agree on that, and you very well know what the situation is. So we are sure you will be able to do something good
So
for
we are
us.
working on a balancing act, bringing everybody together.
We also have Mr. Sanjay Jain from the textile sector. Sanjay ji, aapka question.
Good evening, sir. So this is regarding the Legal Metrology Act, sir. Garments industry, sir, we have also represented to you through various forums, is facing a lot of small nuances and issues and interpretation issues, sir. Also, Merchant MCC has also sent you a representation, and also we have sent it from CMI and FOMA, sir. So request if you could get one meeting arranged for us with the relevant people, sir. There are a lot of small issues and very relevant things.
Which people? You mean Secretary Textiles or who?
No, sir, Legal Metrology, sir.
Legal Metrology, of course. Yes. I'll instruct them right away.
It's under you, sir. So if you could.
Of course. At your service, jab aapko chahiye ho jayega. ये JS कंज्यूमर अफेयर्स में बोलना कि लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी की मीटिंग मिस्टर संजय जैन है, मेंबर MCCI के, उनका नंबर ले लो इनसे, जिससे भी आप संपर्क में हो, और लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी की एक VC संजय जैन और जो भी उनके साथ लोग आना चाहे उनकी करें। ट्यूसडे तक हो जानी चाहिए। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir.
So thank you very much, sir.
So you have it, if it is not done, send me a message.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, when these issues are coming up, I also happen to be the president of the Fragrances and Flavor Association of India. एक हमारा एक inverted duty का एक issue है which has been going on for more than a year. We have sent several representations where the raw material and the finished product both are, the import duty is the same. If you can kindly intervene, sir, and look into this matter.
ये again GST, ये सब GST council
import duty का matter है sir, not GST. Import duty. हाँ जी.
तो मुझे एक letter भेजिए with all backup documents, then I'll take it up with.
I have been sending at least more than a dozen representations have been sent to your office.
My office?
हाँ sir, I've got some response कि we are looking into it, and then again for months nothing has moved forward.
किसके मेरे नाम पे भेजा है?
सर आपका जो ईमेल आईडी है उसमें भी भेजा गया है .nic I think piyush.goyal@nic.in ऐसा कोई आईडी में भेजा था. I can tell you.
मैं चेक करवा लेता हूँ.
Please sir, it's from the Fragrance and Flavor Association of India.
Right.
We'll be really grateful sir if you can intervene.
Sure. आप ये सब जो भी इश्यूज है कंपाइल करके मुझे भिजवा दीजिए.
जी सर, मैं भिजवा देता हूँ.
I can take a view on it.
जी सर, एक जेम एंड ज्वेलरी से एक अशोक बेंगानी जी हैं.
You'll have to wind up, boss. I have a WTO meeting going on. I have to get back to that.
Sure, sir.
Well, thank you so very much, sir, for this opportunity. I'm Ashok Bengani from Kolkata.
एक fragrance association ने कुछ चिट्ठी लिखी है हमें about inverted duty on imports. Raw material और finished product पे same duty है. They say they have not got a very satisfactory response. तो जरा निकालो क्या है fragrances पे import duty and finance को refer करो. I don't know whether it's too late for this budget. थोड़ा पहले बोला होता तो better रहता. Try तो करो DGFT किसको लो चिट्ठी लिखने के लिए. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Last question, huh?
Yes, sir. Last question.
Well, sir, myself Ashok Bengani from Kolkata. We are from gem and jewelry sector. Honorable sir, I have posted you so many mails through Manish Badia of Ahmedabad, and I look forward what you have did for hallmarking was a commendable job. What we did for the sector, what we look forward now the Howrah district is selected as a focus export district for gem and jewelry. We look forward to your support, sir, for CFC and EFC at the park, where it is going to close to 60,000 artisans are staying around. And we look forward to your support, sir. and I think it will give a lot of benefit to your goal to $650 billion.
All the proposals have to come from the state government because I think उनका बड़ा role होता है. They have to give जगह देनी पड़ती है उनको.
जी हमारे पास
funding तो जरा state government से formal proposal भेजे. आपके proposal
नहीं हमारे पास सर वो आंकुराटी पार्क के अंदर जो हमने बनाया है गवर्नमेंट का बना हुआ उसमें हमारे पास स्पेस भी है and sorry sir we have the space for CFC and EFC both. We have all inspection ready there. If
just send me a note on this one, I'll have it examined. If it's possible,
sure,
तो जरूर करेंगे.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much for your kind support, sir. Thank you.
Great. Lovely talking to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, ठीक है, sir. Thank you. You are getting late, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And we look forward to receiving you in person in the chamber also soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. लेट हो रहा है